Hey, UPB from OptionMillionaires.com. We have earnings season really taking hold this week. The week starting July 29th, ending August 2nd is going to be a great week for earnings. And might as well start it off by winging it. Buffalo Wild Wings up 2% plus on Friday. Think the stock is going to head back down to this trend line post earnings. That's the low we saw back in the middle of 2008. And the stock has been on quite a tear, breaking out to new all-time highs, going to pull back before it makes its next big move to the upside. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a $10 move to the downside. But again, if you look at the stock options, might not be that profitable a move if you're trading the options. Again, we get that big drop post-earnings. Might be a good time to get in. I'm sure if we get a big drop after hours on Tuesday, from Buffalo Wild Wings in the morning. There'll be a lot of analysts coming out the next day. And you can mark my words. Go back to this video. They're like, well, the weakness should be bought. You know, that's what we're going to see. And I think that's going to propel Buffalo Wild Wings to new all-time highs. But I don't think you're going to trade the options here post-earnings unless you're buying a couple puts. And they're going to be pretty close to the money, say $95, the $90 strike. How about BXP? BXP is going to be reliant on Simon Property Group. Now look at BXP. You can draw a beautiful trend line here on the top side and then also on the downside. It's in a channel, which means it's just putzing along, and it's either going to break big to the upside or big to the downside. Simon Property Group is going to have a lot to do with that. Boston Property is also a REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, and are we going to break out to new all-time highs here? The interesting thing to keep in mind is I think bond yields are going to continue to rise. So a lot of the allure for some of the REITs is interest rates. Interest rates decline in value. If interest rates go down, bonds increase in value. The REITs are well liked, but we get the flip side. We have interest rates rising. We have bonds falling in value, and some of the REITs are just not so exciting anymore. That might be something that propels Simon Property Group, which reports earnings before the bell on Monday, and Boston Properties, which reports after the bell on Tuesday, might send them both lower, irrespective of whatever they earn. Let's go to AFLAC. AFLAC is in an uptrend here. I would not trade it. I think the risk is it does nothing post-earnings and options just go. So let's move to Budweiser. I think Bud is going to break out. I think Bud's going to head back up to $100 here. I think it's going to be a great trade. I'm going to tell you if I get into it in the chat room at stocktwits.com and optionmillionaires.com in the chat room. It's going to be great. Bud, I think it's to the upside. How about Burger King? McDonald's disappointed for earnings. We have Burger King doing a stair step here to the upside. 1942. Are we going to break out? Or are we going to break down? Interesting. I'm not going to trade it options. How about MasterCard? Visa knocked it out of the park. MasterCard. Oh my goodness. Somebody's using their MasterCard to buy the stock. This is reminiscent of Chipotle Mexican Grill when it hit its high. It's kind of like, Houston, yes, just get us to 35,000. You know, it's just on autopilot. It's like, just send us to 1,000, but do it over the course of, 4.5 years. Don't move it up too quick. And don't have any declines that's going to rattle my confidence. That's kind of what's happening with MasterCard. Every time it goes up a little too quick, it gets yanked back. And every time it goes down, it bounces. It's a miracle. Oh my goodness. Can I have some juiced mango with some kale, please? Because this is delicious. And that's what MasterCard, the chart just looks fabulous. Fabulous. We love it. Love it here. And I think, pretty crazy. MasterCard's at all-time highs here. I know Jimmy Bob from OptionMillionaires.com when Visa was in the low 50s, and MasterCard was at, half, 65% lower than it is now. Talking about how, think about it. What are people using these days? Are they using the cash that's being printed? No, even the cash that's being printed at the Federal Reserve, as much as we like to think all that ink is helping HP's bottom line, HPQ's, it's not. It's all digital money. Everything's digital. That digital money goes on a piece of plastic, and that's why Visa and MasterCard are doing so well. Would it be too crazy for me right here to call MasterCard for a 5% gain post-earnings? That would be a $30 move. Very possible. Very plausible. You can only hold it back so far, so long, and I think that's what's been going on here. It's been a slow, steady accumulation. We get some decent numbers from MasterCard, and it's going to go ballistic. Oh my goodness! Oh, it's going to go to the moon. It's pretty crazy. But I'm going to tell you, if I get into it in the chat room in stocktwits.com, not sure if I'm going to trade it yet, but if it does move up that 5% heading into earnings, Wednesday before the bell, you have to get into it. Tuesday, just before the bell ends, before the bell tolls, shall I say, before the closing bell. It'll be interesting. And then soda. We have soda before the bell on Wednesday as well. Look at soda. And I don't know if you guys remember this. I kind of extended it. I didn't have to extend that. There we go. Just move it nicely. Well, anyway, forget it. Anyway, this beautiful bull flag that I was talking about in this channel, it broke out. And now here we are again. Now I can extend that. There we go. So now we're sitting at kind of a support level here. Are we going to bounce? I think earnings certainly. I mean, look at the pop-up we had in the summer of 2011. Same kind of possible lower high. So it's going to be interesting here. Are we going to tank? And soda, just like Magic Jack I was talking about earlier in the earnings video 1, heavily shorted. People don't like this stock. People think soda is doomed. Well, we'll see what happens post-earnings. How about Sam? Sam Adams. Oh, my goodness. Jimmy Bob loves this stock at optionmillionaires.com. Nobody believed in it. I mean, Goldman Sachs, I think, had up here about a $6 price target. Come on. They don't know anything. But anyway, finally upgraded the stock recently. Continued higher. We'll see. We have Budweiser earnings before the bell on Wednesday. We have Sam after the bell. We could easily see Sam over $200. We have Sam in a can. We have a lot of different varieties of brew from Sam Adams. They're growing hand over fist. Think about it, folks. You're not going to drink soda. Drink beer. So we have Sam. That's after the bell on Wednesday. We have C-Trip, which is up. We had Expedia down. So it'll be interesting to see where the earnings lay. On Wednesday after the bell for C-Trip, we have MetLife, which is on a rally to like Aflac, not quite up at that double top there from the 2008 high. Again, something I probably wouldn't trade, but could be profitable if we see a 5% move. How about SFLY? Ooh, heading up there near the double top, kind of rolling over here. It's going to be interesting. That's after the bell on Wednesday. And YELP. YELP has been on a tear. Oh my goodness, somebody scream for YELP. It's been moving up really nice here. Kind of like Zillow. Anybody been watching Zillow? Symbol is Z. Yeah, it's been on autopilot. Zillow's just been going through the roof. Somebody's been yelping for Zillow and Zillowing for Yelp, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that means nothing. Either way, I could see after this big run up here, if we get something disappointing, we could see a 20% drop in Yelp. Call me crazy. This is one of those lotto trades I'm going to do. Anyway, when I get in it, that's heading into Wednesday after the bell. So maybe I'll bring it up Tuesday on a video. But anyway, that's Wednesday after the bell. Yelp. I like the lotto puts. And then we have Thursday before the bell. ABX. Gold miner. These things have been shunned. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's a very interesting point here. You can draw a trend line down. Have we just bounced and we're going to continue to fall? It's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to trade it. We'll see. How about CME? Hitting out to new all-time highs here. Remember, this was a $300, $400 stock back in 2008. Did a split. It's kind of curling back here, but I could definitely see it continuing to the upside. We'll see about that. That's Thursday before the bell. And then after the bell, we have LinkedIn. It's pretty funny because we were talking about LinkedIn at Option Millionaires for so long. Jimmy Bob was talking about it. You see, I was marking these prices down here, the channel, the top of the trend line we broke out of. So many people were just, they were unbelievably bearish on the stock. LinkedIn, they were like, my goodness, LinkedIn should be like an $8 stock. Just like Amazon. They're like, Amazon, the P's like 6 trillion, or no, it's not. It's like 200 or whatever it is. They just can't wrap their minds around it. And I think when you get a story where casual investors are bashing it, you have educated investors bashing a stock, just talking negatively about it, to me that just continues to lead to price gains. And look at LinkedIn, all-time highs. Jimmy Bob was talking about the stock when it was in the 70s, saying, oh, that secondary offering down here. He's like, oh, yeah. And look at this bottoming pattern. Beautiful, and then consolidation, a beautiful upswing here. I could see 220, 230 post-earnings. Again, though, the market's going to price that in, the options market. So probably not something you're going to trade at least that day on heading into earnings. But I'll tell you what, Friday, it's going to be LinkedIn mania. We get that big spike, maybe pull it back for a fade. If we don't get that spike, we get a 5-10% drop on a pullback. It might be buy it, like Amazon was on Friday. At optionmillionaires.com, on the watch list on Friday was the Amazon calls. Amazon was in the 290s. it hit almost 313. It was an amazing move. So that's what we like at optionmillionaires.com. Trade those big moves. So nobody was calling for this. Finally, Leapfrog. I only bring this up because my daughters play with the Leapfrog products, and why not trade something you know? We could be seeing a nice double top here, or at least a high and a lower high, which would lead to lower prices post-earnings. But I'm not going to trade it for options. But I figured I'd bring it up because they're reporting earnings. So there you have it, folks. This is part 2 of the earnings report. We have Buffalo Wild Wings, Boston Properties, Aflac. That's after the bell on Tuesday. We have Budweiser, Burger King, MasterCard, Soda, Wednesday before the bell. That's going to be pretty hot. And then after the bell, we have Sam Adams, C-Trip, MetLife, SFLY, YELP after the bell on Wednesday. YELP, I love it for downside. We'll see if that happens. And then Thursday before the bell, we have CME, and we also have ABX. And then after the bell, we have LinkedIn and Leapfrog. It's going to be a great week, And then to top that off, I have some great intra-week trades as far as TLT is concerned. I'll make it into some GDX and GLD, and I'll let you know later on. UPB here from OptionMillionaires.com. Have a great weekend. It's going to be an awesome earnings week. I guarantee it. Goodbye.